Now, authorities in the United States have released body cam video of a police officer shooting a black woman inside her home. It happened in Illinois after 36-year-old Sonia Massey called police to report a suspected intruder in her home. The video shows the two officers entering her house, following her into the kitchen. Police then shout at her to put down a pot of boiling water as they point their guns. Massey was transported to the hospital where she eventually died of her injuries. The officer who shot her in the head has since been fired and is facing charges of murder and official misconduct. Now, President Joe Biden has condemned the shooting.
Hull were sisters, stabbed to death by a man they'd never met while celebrating a birthday in a London park. What made the case even worse is that police officers who were guarding the crime scene took photos of their bodies and shared them on WhatsApp.
I'm now known as the mum whose two daughters were murdered in a park by a stranger.
Their mother, Mina, is now campaigning for change.
I am sick of it being a woman's responsibility to keep herself safe. Yeah? Don't drink too much. Don't wear something provocative. Make sure you have a friend walk with you. Have a key in your hand when you walk. You know, it's ridiculous. What we need is a program that focuses on education. So this catch them before they fall. We have an epidemic of violence against women and girls.
And a new policing report for England and Wales has found exactly that, calling violence against women and girls a national emergency. It said crimes such as domestic abuse, rape and stalking rose by almost 40% between 2018 and 2023. The report estimated at least 1 in every 12 women will be a victim each year, with more than 1 million violence against women and girl-related crimes recorded in 1 year alone.
The scale of the threat to women and girls in this country is enormous. The scale is what we call an epidemic. We have to do something as a society to protect women and girls. We have to do more to educate boys and girls growing up.
Police say they're taking a new approach to tackling it, treating it as seriously as crimes like terrorism.
But do you think if there were 2 million victims of terrorism?
Gunpoint. Shocking details tonight as a couple recovers following a terrifying ordeal tonight. 41-year-old Corey Rayford is charged in the crime. Here's WREG's Shay Arthur with the latest on this investigation.
A dark, rainy day off Chuck Avenue in Oak Haven. It's calm and quiet, much different from the situation a couple tells police they went through Monday night. A woman told officers she was sitting in a car with her boyfriend around 11:30 at night when there was a knock on the window. She thought maybe it was a security guard because they were in a school park after hours. But the man, now identified as Corey Rayford, was far from a security guard. The woman says he told them, "Give me what you got." The couple handed over $600, but that wasn't enough for Rayford. She says he became angry and pulled a gun on them, forcing the boyfriend out of the car, telling him to get on his knees and face the opposite direction. The woman says Rayford then raped her at gunpoint. The couple claims Rayford then told them if they followed him out of the park, he would kill both of them. The next day, the woman spotted Rayford in the neighborhood while driving. She followed him and called police, who were able to make an arrest. We checked. Rayford has been arrested multiple times in the past, but these latest charges appear to be the most violent. But in 2006, records show he resisted being arrested and struggled with officers, forcing them to use a chemical agent on him. In that case, he was also found to be in unlawful possession of a gun. For your news leader, Shay Arthur,
Yeah, and according to an autopsy report, 23-year-old private first class Katia Duenas Aguilar was stabbed nearly 6 dozen times. Her death was ruled a homicide back on May 18th when authorities found her body in her Tennessee home, not far from the Army base where she was stationed. However, police still don't know who killed her and why. Aguilar had been stationed at Fort Campbell in Kentucky since 2019 after graduating from North Mesquite High School and then completing boot camp. She was a member of the 101st Combat Aviation Brigade. She received multiple awards during her time in the service, including the National Defense Medal. She left behind a young son. After her death in May, her family held an emotional press conference. Her mom saying at the time she thinks someone in the military knows something or may have been involved in her daughter's death.
We want to believe that it's a nightmare, that we can wake up and she will still be there.
She's not the first one.
Obviously,
the problem is inside. It's inside. It's not outside. Everything is inside. They know, and you know too.
Aguilar's family in the League of Latin America.
Shalom. Giving all praise to my Heavenly Father, his name is Yahweh, by Shem Yahushua, by Shem Gargadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders that were well. Peace and many salutations to y'all came that's told this truth. Now, as you can see, here in Babylon the Great and also in the UK, women are being targeted, at an alarming rate for violent crimes, which include them being unalived, which is a term called Femicide. I like to bring this out often. It's those said crimes, that's in the woman's population, because they are women. It's basically men targeting women, or for these crimes. And this has been a spirit on the last decade, 2 decades, really, if you want to count the apostles. There's been a push to call out these women, and this massive call out is stirring up a spirit, man, and that spirit is judgment. We're going to see judgment on a very large scale. This will be in these women, because a lot of these women, they're all right. They've been getting away with a lot of wicked things. One huge thing that they have been able to get away with, is adultery. And that spirit, that adultery spirit, is getting called out by the apostles and the elders, man. Okay. And that really was a curse. That was a curse for our women. That was a curse for us, worshiping these various idols and things of that nature. And so the Most High allowed it to where our women would be whores in the street, man. And that's one of the worst things that a man can endure, is knowing that a woman that you cared about has cheated on you. I know we all went through it, but this is an epidemic that we've had to endure on a broad scale, to the point to where our women, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American women, are perceived as sluts worldwide, man. In particular, the so-called black women. It's shameful, and it's being brought to a head. Hosea 4:14, actually Hosea 4:13, they sacrifice unto the top of the mountains and burn incense upon the hills, on the oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughter shall commit whoredoms, and your spouse shall commit adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouse when they commit adultery, for themselves are separate with whores, and thy sacrifice with harlots. Therefore, the people that do not understand shall fall. So, because our people were worshiping idols, the Most High has put a perverse spirit on our women, inducing them to, commit whoredom. And it's crazy how this particular precept is popping off the page. If you think about, this during the sexual liberation time in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, man, our women were running loose. 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. Our women have been running loose for decades, man. And it has caused, a deterioration in the community, so-called community of you so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans. So it has caused a huge decline, socially speaking, even with the other nations, because our women have become the prototype of wickedness for women in general. Okay, so now that we've been chanting this place down, a huge part of chanting this place down is condemning these women, and these women are going to be brought low. They've been brought low. They're being brought low right before our eyes, and it's going to be on a massive scale in the near future. Okay, Micah 7:10. Then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is Yahweh thy power? My eyes shall behold her. Now she shall be trodden down as the mire of the streets. That's right. So a lot of these women that have came against this truth, that came against our apostles, a lot of these women are in a situation to where they are going to be judged harshly, man. Right? And rightfully so. We're living in that time to where, certain powers are trying to put Kamala Harris in office. This is going to, ignite anger in the heathens, particularly towards the so-called black woman. Because I can see if she were to win, all types of twerking and disrespect, in the sense of entitlement, throughout the population of the so-called Negro woman, the head tribe, Judah, you know what I'm saying? And these other women, because wherever Judah do, these women do. And that's going to cause a lot of turmoil. You have to understand that the economy is going to take a huge dive in the near future. The transportation industry is already being, destroyed right before your eyes. You have more and more brothers complaining about how the food is going bad, bro. That's because the transportation industry is being greatly affected. There's a shortage of truck drivers, and there's a shortage of work for truck drivers. Okay, so goods are going to become more expensive because it's going to be more expensive for these various goods to be shipped. On top of less items are being seen in these stores, and that's occurring more and more. Okay, all this is going on, and these females, on TikTok, on Instagram, telling the man that he ain't sufficient enough. Well, that day is coming to where nature's going to take its course. Okay. A lot of women out here, you're in a pompous and arrogant spirit now, but real soon you're going to be brought low. And it's going to be a sight to see. I could see, a huge increase in homelessness in women, inducing these women to want to sell their bodies. I had a vision of even, old school whores, like prostitutes that's been doing this for a while, complaining that, you have these new females messing up the game because there's so many of them out there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these women are going to be homeless. A lot of women are going to be starving. A lot of women are going to be targeted for heinous crimes, man. And it's only going to get worse as it gets harder and harder to feed ourselves out here in Babylon the Great. So judgment is coming in a very, very harsh way. Okay? Pray for endurance. Shalom.